Now on Fox 35 News.
Time's up. A local woman just hours away from being deported.
Tow yard tantrum. Cops called in.
Sheriff's office! Get out of the car! Get out of the car now!
When she drives out like a bat out of hell.
Cancer concern. A second community with tainted water. One family, its own cancer cluster.
It was just one family member after the other.
A standoff ending in gunfire. Cops say the suspect made some poor choices.
And a puppy porch pirate caught on camera. I'm Luann Sorrell.
I'm Charles Belay. The news starts now.
Live from the news station, Fox 35 News at 10 starts now.
In this country for 20 years, now forced to leave.
My husband and I never thought it was going to come down to this.
A local woman just hours away from having to leave her husband and children. It's our big story at 10. The woman has been living in Florida illegally for decades.
ICE saying she needs to leave now. The news station's Danielle Lama live at Orlando International with the big wait. Hey, Danielle.
Hey guys, the Polk County woman is married to a Marine veteran. She has 2 kids that were born here, but tomorrow she's expected to board a plane here at OIA to travel to Mexico, but she says she will keep fighting to come back.
They breaking my family apart. We were apart already when my husband was deployed for almost 16 months, for more than 16 months. So this country, the very country that is deporting his wife.
Military spouse and mom of 2, Alejandra Juarez, says she thought she'd have more time in this country.
It's just shocking that they just, what's the urgency to get rid of me so fast?
Juarez admits she came into the U.S. illegally around 20 years ago. Immigration officials say before that she tried entering and was issued an expedited order of removal at the border.
She was asked to sign a form that was in English that had no translation. And they were told her, if you'll sign this form, we'll just let you go back home. Of course, she signed that form, and then that became the legal impediment against which we haven't been able to overcome.
But attorney Richard Manny says for 5 years, ICE has let Juarez stay under supervision.
Then comes the order, zero tolerance. Go ahead and deport your low priority individuals. And so here we are.
Will this country be safer without me tomorrow?
Juarez says the plan is to keep fighting even once she's in Mexico. Tonight, Congressman Darren Soto issued a statement saying he sent bipartisan letters signed by 9 members of Congress to the president and some of his cabinet members asking that they allow her to stay. Juarez still hopeful someone will hear her family's story and act.
Even if you don't sympathize with me, you know, you have to be appreciative of the service he has given to this country. And look at the big picture and say there's something wrong with it.
Juarez says she will travel to Mexico alone tomorrow to look for housing. Then the plan is for her younger daughter to join her there, her teenage daughter staying here in the U.S. with their father to finish out high school. We're live from OIA tonight. Danielle Lama, Fox 35 News.
Cancer in the Water, Part 2. Another city's H2O contaminated with dangerous chemicals, and these numbers off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, it's disturbing.
People making changes now to protect themselves from the growing cancer concern.
Cocoa Beach city leaders discussing the results of that water test tonight.
The city now planning more testing, looking for additional cancer-causing chemicals in other parts of the city. City officials meeting with officials at Patrick Air Force Base today, where the highest amounts of those chemicals were found.
And we're trying to learn, but it absolutely is something we need to be concerned about and test further so we can rule certain things out as to what the source is.
The extra testing scheduled to happen within the next 2 weeks. Just yesterday, it was revealed that well water in Satellite Beach also tested positive for cancer-causing chemicals. And tonight, one family wondering if that water is responsible for their cancer.
4 members of the same family diagnosed with cancer in less than a year. The news station's Lara Greenberg live in Cocoa Beach tonight with more on that. Lara.
Luann and Charles, Stell Bailey says that she has won the battle against cancer. Now she's fighting the war against cancer causing chemicals in the water. And based on what's happened to her family, she thinks these chemicals have been here for a while. This used to be Stell Bailey's reality. A cancer survivor, Stell is one of 5 people in her family who, in the same year, were all diagnosed with cancer.
Every doctor that I talked to, the first thing they said was, "Where did you grow up?"
In January 2013, her dog died of cancer. A month later, her uncle. A month after that, her brother diagnosed with cancer. Then her father.
There's only supposed to be 2 out of 100,000 people with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And guess what? My brother and I sat next to each other getting administered chemotherapy.
Her father also suffering from a rare form of cancer. That's when she started asking questions.
You watch your brother go through the cancer and then to be told you have the same exact cancer is mind-blowing.
She knew something was wrong when she was having trouble breathing. First, she was diagnosed with anxiety, then asthma, then bronchitis. Finally,
the 6th doctor said, "Let's get you a CT scan," and they saw my entire left side region of my body was full of tumors.
The biggest, 13 centimeters, sitting in her chest. She and her brother both now in remission, while her father continues the fight. Stell now fighting for him, her family, and the others now coming forward with rare forms of cancer across Cocoa Beach and Satellite Beach.
My family's story, I want it to be looked at as a way of uniting everybody and making a change.
And Stell has organized a community meeting happening on Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Satellite Beach Civic Center. She says that health department officials will be there. Live in Cocoa Beach, Lara Greenberg, Fox 35 News.
One person arrested, one still on the run after back-to-back hit and runs kill a woman in Polk County. That woman was driving a scooter when a truck hit her from behind. Then, when a Good Samaritan stopped to help her, another truck hit both of them.
Only in Polk County do you run over the same person twice within a minute or two, and 2 different people, leave them in the road for dead. I'm just angry beyond words.
The driver of the first truck turned himself in. Deputies still searching for that other driver. A teenager dead tonight after a shootout with deputies. Let's get out to the news station's Brian Scott. He is live in Apopka with the very latest. Brian.
You can see the SWAT team still in this neighborhood off of 429 tonight, still working this scene out here, and it has been hours since cops had to open fire, and ultimately a person died as a result. Now check out this video we shot earlier in the day where you could hear deputies fire off several rounds that took that guy down. The sheriff says they came to serve a warrant on the guy for felony assault and burglary when the suspect pulled a gun on them, shot, and ran back into the house. Deputies fired back with non-lethal rounds, and they say when the guy came back out, he opened fire on them again, so SWAT had to fire back. The sheriff says he saw it all on drone video, and it was justified, but neighbors here just aren't so sure.
Just shot him, just like that.
He's chill. He don't even bother nobody. He stays inside the crib. He don't bother nobody.
They don't know what they're talking about if they're being critical. At the end of the day, the deputies were put in a tough situation.
Still, the sheriff says, as usual, those deputies are being put on paid leave for now while the state does investigate the use of force and make sure that everything here was necessary. That suspect's name is not being released. We only know at this point that he is 19 years old. Live in Apopka, I'm Brian Scott, Fox 35 News.
Cops looking for the punks who vandalized a church in Marion County. Windows broken, chairs thrown, and pews flipped. They even took cash from the offering plate and school supplies for a back-to-school drive. Tonight, the pastor is leaning on faith.
First anger, and then the Spirit start to minister and say, they just need help, somebody hunting help. This means we're going to press forward. It's not going to hinder us at all, but it's inspiring us to go forward and to do more in the community.
Members of the small church in Citra are now coming together to make repairs.
Caught on On camera, these three punks forgot to smile for it. Sanford police looking for the trio. They say they stole more than $1,200 worth of cigarettes from a 7-Eleven. If you know who they are, call cops. And new video from Longwood tonight. This black bear is ready for his close-up. Robert Pickett spotted the bear eating some dog food in his front yard, and once the bear was done, he walked straight out the back.
It's a completely tragic event. It's a crazy world we live in.
Some things will never make sense. A mother accused of throwing her own child into a river.
A new solution to the homeless problem. Shipping containers.
Shot with paintballs. Several guys targeted, and they call it a hate crime.
And a thief caught in the act. The suspect taking everyone by surprise.
Coming up, cops say it started over toasted bread. We talk with the Florida man and the Subway employee cops say confronted him with a knife. Next on Fox 35 News Edge at 11.